San Francisco, city by the bay, land of giants. Miami arrives for a four-gamer. Hey, see the sights and some baseball. Giancarlo Stanton always seems to enjoy himself here, and the Marlins need a boost. It's Marlins, it's Giants. It's late night with the fish. San Francisco, home of the Giants. The Marlins arrive. It's a four-game weekend series with Cubby Cove. Not a bad place to start. Denny Echeverria and the Marlins got the road Grays. Buster Posey and the Giants getting ready for the fish. Hottest hitter on the planet, D. Gordon, and Michael Morse will get his World Series ring here in about 5 minutes. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome to San Francisco, a place where the Marlins have played well over the last 4 years.
Yeah, they really have. Sometimes you come to a place and you have struggles, and the Marlins did at one time here at AT&T, but the last 4 years they've been tremendous.
Christian Yelich is here. Though he's not in uniform, the Marlins will activate him tomorrow. But the good news is the rehab is over, and it sounds like he's ready to go.
Yeah, it sounds like during the rehab everything went really well in the games that he played 3 games for Jupiter. But when Christian Yelich comes back, I don't expect him to hit in that number 2 spot because the ball club and Martin Prado has played so well in that number 2 hole. So when he comes back, it could be tomorrow, it could be the next day. I would imagine we'll see Yelich hitting where we saw Ichiro hit while Ichiro was in the starting lineup. And as a matter of fact, Ichiro tonight hitting in number 5 spot. But good to have the healthy back, and it'll be good to have Christian Yelich back.
Eligible to return, so he'll be here tomorrow in uniform. 3 for 9 with a double in his rehab against Jupiter. Speaking of Ichiro, in the absence of Christian Yelich, Ichiro has been outstanding. He doesn't look like he's 41. He looks like he's vintage Ichiro right now.
You know, Rich, I talked to a couple of scouts before the game tonight, and they were saying what a tremendous sign for the Marlins to sign the 41-year-old Ichiro. He's in tremendous shape, unbelievably popular in the clubhouse. He hits home runs. He has 1. He'll slap the ball the other way. And right now, Ichiro working on a 7-game hitting streak and excited about being here at AT&T Park, too.
Yes, he is. AT&T Park is very special to him. And, of course, this year he took his first celebratory dunk. And the insurance policy has paid off. And you expect him to play, too. Even though Christian Yelich is back tomorrow, I would expect to see Ichiro in there at least a couple times a week.
Absolutely. And look at that. Since turning 40, a .285 batting average, incredible, in 171 games.
Now, he's not played in a regular season game in this ballpark, but this was the site of a 2007 All-Star game. He was the MVP of that game. The starting pitcher in that game, representing the Oakland Athletics, was Dan Herron. And it's Dan Herron who opens the road trip for Miami.
This is a really neat matchup tonight. You have a couple of veterans, 2 guys who really know how to pitch. Dan Herron's 34 years old. You see the way he's pitched in California. That's one thing that he's done. He's also pitched well against the Giants, 6-6 with a .294 career ERA and 17 starts against San Francisco. So happy to be back in California. Dan Herron, the 34-year-old, goes up against Tim Hudson, the 39-year-old. And Hudson has been a real blotch on the Marlins mark over the years. Look at that, 26 starts, 15-4 record. He's a survivor. He's had Tommy John surgery, had that awful ankle injury a couple of years ago. He's in his 17th season, and Tim Hudson has won 215 games.
Marlins have been getting some pretty good starting pitching of late. That didn't hold yesterday. The Marlins ran into Bryce Harper, a historic performance by the 22-year-old yesterday, not only with the tape measure but just by age, when he clouded 3 home runs in yesterday's game.
Well, I thought I read today the youngest player at 22 since 1969 to have a 3-homer game, and it was pretty magnificent. The home runs were all sure things. There were no cheapies either from Harper.
Marlins fell behind late. Giancarlo Stanton, though, knocked one out of the ballpark. A 3-run shot that made it a closer ball game.
You know, not only did he knock this out of the ballpark, he knocked a hanging slider. He knocked Scherzer out of the ball game. Scherzer had been throwing the ball really well. Hung one during that at bat. Stanton fouled off some fastballs and then hit that home run deep. 27 RBIs. Giancarlo leads the major leagues in that department.
Very special moment for Michael Morse right now here in San Francisco. Let's go down to the field.
Center field, that's going to get down base hit. Morse lines one into right field. That's a base hit. And the Giants are back ahead 3-2.
How many times have we said that Michael Morse, he is a threat.
Swing, and there's a high drive down the left field line, looking toward the corner. Goodbye! It's tied up. And pandemonium reigns at AT Park.
After battling an injury in the final month of the season, he worked hard to recover and get back on the field in time to help his teammates go all the way to the 2014 World Series. No one will forget the critical game-tying pinch-hit home run in Game 5 of the NLCS, not to mention his go-ahead single that drove in the eventual game-winning run in Game 7 of the World Series. His love and enthusiasm for the game was felt throughout AT Park and the entire San Francisco community. Please, everybody, help us welcome back to AT Park, Michael Morse! Welcome Giants President and CEO Larry Baer and Giants Manager Bruce Bochy.
That's a pretty cool moment for a Fort Lauderdale kid who spent a year here in San Francisco and made an impact not only on the field, but you can tell, Tommy, in the stands and in the clubhouse.
I'll tell you what, that is one of the nicest moments I've seen in a ring presentation to someone who's gone on to another ball club. His entire team, his former team, came out. They wanted him to open the box. They encouraged him to open the box to see the ring. Hugs from everybody. The fans, you can tell, as you pointed out, really appreciated what Michael Morse did last year for the San Francisco Giants.
So Michael Morse gets his ring. The Giants and the Marlins start their 4-game series. Dan Herron's back in California, and he's aiming at the defending world champs. It's Miami, and it's San Francisco, and it's next. streak right now for the San Francisco Giants. Let's go down below to Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Thanks, Rich. Dan Herron will be on the mound tonight for the Marlins, and he is one guy that has pitched well since the start of the season. In 5 outings, Herron is 3-1 with 21 strikeouts and an ERA of 2.70. And you know he'll be comfortable on the mound tonight because he is back out on the West Coast. Herron pitched for the Dodgers last year. He also had a chance to spend some time with the Oakland Athletics. He went to school at Pepperdine University, and he was born in California. Here is Herron on being back in his home state.
It'll be nice. My family, my sister lives in San Francisco. My family's coming up north, so I'll be able to see them. And you know, from the start of the season, I looked at this road trip and knew we'd be west for a week here, and so definitely been looking forward to it. But yeah, it's exciting. 2 of my favorite places to pitch. San Francisco is a great ballpark, great atmosphere. Obviously, defending champs and the Dodgers. The atmosphere there is always awesome.
You take a look at the starting pitching, and you guys have really been able to get into deeper innings, which is something Red said that he needed. Good to see being able to get into the 6th, 7th inning.
Absolutely. It taxes the bullpen a lot. Going 5-6 innings. We've had a few get into the 7th inning, and hopefully we continue that trend up. I mean, you never want to put too much work on the bullpen, especially this early in the season. Guys have thrown a lot of innings down there. Morris and AJ seem like they're throwing a lot. So, we're always doing the best we can to be out there as long as we can. And I think over the last week or 2, we've done a better job of that.
One thing Mike Redmond says he loves about Dan Herron, he always comes in with a plan and he always executes it well. And they hope that he will do that again tonight. First pitch coming up between San Francisco and Miami in Game 1 of a 4-game series.
Get ready to go. Still some sunlight here in San Francisco. And Tim Hudson, a familiar foe for the Marlins franchise, makes his 27th start against Miami. His start to this year, 1-2, a 3.78, and this is his 6th start. He gets D. Gordon, who leads the free world in hits and batting average, and takes fastball out. Pinch penny brings you that first pitch.
Yeah, Tim Hudson, only Bartolo Colon and R.A. Dickey are older starters in the major leagues. Hudson, 39 years old.
D. Gordon, 11 straight is his hit streak. 3 more hits yesterday, and he pulls a ground ball to Joe Panik, who throws Gordon out at first. And there's one out here in San Francisco. Here's the lineup. It's brought to you by JM Lexus. D. Gordon, Martin Prado, Giancarlo Stanton in the 3 spot. Marcelo Zuna hits cleanup. Ichiro elevated to 5 to break up those right-handed bats. Michael Morse getting a start at first. JT Realmuto in the 7th spot. Adeiny Echeverria hits 8th. And Dan Herron hits 9th. And here is Martin Prado. Prado a 6-game streak. He had 3 hits in yesterday's ball game as well. Marlins lost 7-5, losing to Bryce Harper and the Nationals.
Of course, Martin Prado and Tim Hudson, teammates for a few years with the Atlanta Braves.
Hudson lives down low. That one fouled back to the screen. 2 things you know you're going to get from Hudson: strikes and ground balls. 2nd most ground balls in the National League last year. 4th fewest walks.
Yeah, there's the scouting report. Everything sinks, cutters and splitters, and a terrific athlete on the mound. Very quick to first base with his move. And he'll mix in a curveball just like that every once in a while.
Mark Wegner calling balls and strikes. Marty Foster at first. Mike Malinsky at second. Mike Winters, the umpire, at third. Prado lines it into the seats. 343 consecutive games have been sold out here at AT&T Park. It goes all the way back to October 1st, 2010. It's the longest active home streak in Major League Baseball.
Well, 3 world championships since that 2010 season.
Prado reaches out, drives it in the gap, right center. Cut off there by Justin Maxwell. And another hit for Martin Prado.
Hudson probably shaking his head saying, I saw him do that a lot when we were teammates. Here's a look at the defense set up by the Giants and Bruce Bochy. Aoki in left field. Angel Pagan. Justin Maxwell, the right fielder. Matt Duffy at third. Brendan Crawford. Joe Panik. Brandon Belt. And Buster Posey behind the plate.
Giancarlo Stanton now. Traditionally hits well on the West Coast. A Los Angeles guy. And certainly grew up rooting for the Dodgers in the Giant-Dodger rivalry. .688 slugging percentage against the West. 48 home runs against National League West opponents. Fouls it at the plate. And his father is here, Mike.
Well, it's just fun looking at the averages and the home run totals and RBIs at AT&T, at Dodger Stadium, in San Diego. Actually hit 5 home runs in each of those ballparks.
Tape measure shots in Colorado, in Arizona. And Hudson misses away. The count's 1-2. The Giants have almost mirrored the Marlins in terms of their season. Yesterday, the Giants lost 9-1 to San Diego, and that snapped a 5-game win streak. They opened the season at 3-9, and we're at 4-10. Remember, the Marlins were at 3-11 before it really kicked in for Miami. Prado's at first. Stanton fouls it at the plate.
Well, they've had to mix and match in a few areas. A couple of starters are down, Kane and Peavy. Hunter Pence, a key to their world championship last year. He's been out. Sustained a broken wrist in spring training. They expect him maybe 2 or 3 weeks. He's just starting to play some rehab games, but it's going to take a while.
Marlins know how that waiting game feels. Christian Yelich is here, but will be active tomorrow. Henderson Alvarez still on the disabled list, and of course everybody looking forward to the return of Jose Fernandez mid to late June. Prado from first, 1-2 pitch. Stanton rips it into left field. A hanging breaking ball, and Giancarlo was on it. So Miami with runners first and second. And here comes Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, you hear me say this often, and a veteran pitcher like Hudson, he knows he hung that ball, and he's saying to himself right now, best thing that happened there is that Stanton just had a single, and he didn't hit it 450 feet. But Giancarlo was all over it. It was good to see him have that kind of swing.
Marcell Ozuna an 0 for 5 in yesterday's ball game with 3 strikeouts. And Hudson misses down low. 109.6. That's not where you find the greatest hits of the 70s and 80s. That was the exit speed off the bat of Giancarlo Stanton on that single to left. What do you see with Marcell Ozuna right now, Tommy Hutton?
You know, we had that little period that we talked about where he was very aggressive. And I think he's at that point now, a little frustration in his mind, because this is the longest he's ever gone without a home run. And at times you see tentative swings, gets himself behind in counts. And, you know, a couple of hit night, a couple of balls, if he drives hard, all of a sudden I think he'll come out of it.
Here's a 1-1. Ozuna, ground ball. Duffy has it. Got one, got two. The Giants turn it. Joe Panic to Brandon Belt. And Tim Hudson does what Tim Hudson does. Scoreless so far. Dan Herron gets ready to work against San Francisco. A real nice start to his Marlin tenure. Start number 6 here. He's 3-1, an ERA at 2.70. And Nori Aoki stands in. Giants left fielder Joe Panic, Angel Pagan, and if anybody reaches, Buster Posey here in the first.
A couple of pitchers, Hudson and Herron, both coming off very good starts. Last outing for Dan Herron, 7-0 win against the Phillies, 6 4-hit shutout innings.
Herron likes to work quickly, maybe even faster than the pace of play mandate from the commissioner. Aoki called time. And Aoki swings and lines it foul. And with many Japanese players who are in the professional leagues there, and Aoki was. You see Herron, the start against the Phillies. Aoki grew up idolizing Miami's left fielder, Ichiro. And so a lot of his mannerisms and style, kids that grew up watching Ichiro when he started his professional career, they've mimicked him. Ichiro and Aoki know each other quite well.
Has to be a thrill for the 34-year-old Nori Aoki, who won 3 batting championships in Japan.
Ground ball third. Prado backing up, fires across in time to Morse. Tonight's lineup for the Giants is brought to you by J.M. Lexus. You've met Aoki. Joe Panik, World Series hero of last year. Angel Pagan is hot. Buster Posey, he's hot as well. Brandon Belt's at first. Justin Maxwell out in right. Brandon Crawford at short. Matt Duffy at third for the slumping Casey McGee. And Hudson hits ninth. Dan Herron with an off-speed pitch to Joe Panik. And of course, Panik, probably not a name anyone recognized at the middle of last year. The Giants had so many issues at second base, from injuries to ineffectiveness, that they finally brought Panik up. And once he got up, he solidified everything, and he had a terrific postseason as well.
Well, they had, remember, just a brief trial with Dan Uggla. But in the 73 games that Panik joined the Giants, he hit over 300. And played all 17 games in postseason.
Had a great postseason, a great start to it. Was 3 for 5 in the wild card game. And of course had that diving stop to start the double play, a key one in the World Series in Game 7. That one fouled back and into the seats. St. John's, a shortstop at St. John's.
He's been described as the type of player, when you watch him play, it's like watching an instructional video.
Herron comes in with a fastball and misses, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The important stat for Herron: the Marlins have won 4 of his 5 starts. 3-time All-Star. The numbers that these 2 starters have compiled in their careers, both impressive. A deeper resume and a longer resume for the much older Hudson. Herron trying to catch the corner. You saw him pop his glove.
He just missed with that.
And he did not get the call from Mark Wegner, and it was out. So Wegner was all over it. Here's the 3-2 coming. One foul back and out of play. Dan Herron's won 145 of his 353 career starts. Tim Hudson has made 463 starts now. Got him. Breaking ball. And down goes Joe Panik.
Well, we'll check on that defense for the Marlins tonight. Spacious outfield here at AT&T in San Francisco. Ichiro, Ozuna, and Stanton. Prado, Echeverria, Gordon, and Michael Morse back in there at first base. JT Realmuto behind the plate. The defense still leading the National League, has committed just 10 errors on the season.
Angel Pagan now. One of the things among many that Brian Sabian, Bruce Bochy, and the Brain Trust here have been able to do is identify a guy like Angel Pagan, get him on the ball club, and get the most out of him. And they certainly have done that with Pagan in his run here, his 4th year. Ozuna's there, and he's going to make the catch. And Dan Herron answers Tim Hudson.
Ichiro Suzuki about to head to the plate. Earlier today, Mike Redmond was so complimentary of Ichiro and how he was able to fill in for Christian Yelich. But Ichiro has not just impressed his manager, he's also impressed his teammates, including Martin Prado, who has a special nickname for Ichiro. He calls him the Matrix because Prado says Ichiro is the one. What he has done for the game of baseball, in particular for Japan, no one will ever come close to it. So, Rich, Tommy, you're not just watching Ichiro at the plate, you're watching the Matrix.
Yeah, he's a much better hitter than Keanu Reeves as well.
Probably a better actor, too.
Line drive to Matt Duffy, and Duffy has it. And Ichiro is out, and here comes Michael Morse, who just got his World Series ring.
First baseman, number 38, Michael Morse.
The ovation much louder and much longer for the ceremony, which took place about 10 minutes before first pitch. Very emotional, very moving. And then Morse takes a fastball for a strike. All of the Giants came out of the dugout, came to home plate. Bruce Bochy, they all embraced Morse. He took the ring out of the box, put it on, showed it to the crowd. Little ground ball, and Morse has got a hit to right field.
Well, sometimes a little ceremony that took place is going to get him going, and the Marlins certainly need Michael Morse to get it going. Nice smile, too, on his face.
AT&T Rewind, brought to you by AT&T Uverse, which has more live TV channels on the go than cable. And so Morse punches one into right field, and here's JT Realmuto. I think for Mike Redmond, too, as a manager, a nice stroke to put Morse into the lineup in a environment in which you know he's had success and he's been comfortable. He's been welcomed warmly here tonight. Morse is trying to get himself on track, and the Marlins are trying to do everything they can to help that process.
I think also, Rich, it helped Michael Morse with the 3 games that he was off in Washington, D.C. Not only physically, it allowed him to get a lot of extra work on his stroke, and then I think the mental break as well.
One. High chopper. Duffy gets an out, and Realmuto is down the line quickly. So there are 2 outs, and here is Echeverria. Season tickets at Marlins Park in 2015 gives you a variety of new season ticket packages, including prorated full season, half season, 20-game mini plans, and the new 10-game packs. Plans start at just $240. Secure your seats today, 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/2015 tickets. Echeverria checks in at 308. 1 for 4, drove in a run in yesterday's ball game. Couple homers, 17 driven in.
Boy, really solid numbers, and extremely well on the road. Echeverria 21 for 50, 420 batting average on the road.
This ballpark, this environment is not conducive to games with a lot of runs, and the Giants play low-scoring games at home. That's how they've done it. That's how they've won 3 world championships in 5 years, with great pitching, some good defense.
I think it's important in games in this ballpark that you must do those little things in.
.421, that's Triples Alley out there in right center. That's where Ichiro's home run in the 2007 All-Star game rattled around. An inside the park home run on his way to the MVP award.
That is that 421 sign out by what they like to call archway number 8. Our first archway is over by the foul pole, and then as you move across into right center, there's number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then there are 3 more in deep right center. So when fans, if they're listening to the Hall of Famer John Miller on the radio, he said there's a double over by archway number 7. They have a pretty good idea where it is.
Not a McDonald's reference.
There's John.
There is John Miller. We had a chance to visit with Mike Krukow from Giants Television on Marlins Live tonight. Echeverria fouls it at the plate. He and Dwayne Kuiper have made the telecast here in San Francisco for a long time. Very entertaining. There's Kruk. You rarely
Always has the ball.
Rarely see him without the ball. What a great combination they are.
They're a great pair, and they're great friends.
Yes, they were teammates for the Giants, and they actually did radio shows near the end of their career while they were still players. Full count. Real Muto on the move, and Echeverria pokes one into right field. Real Muto on his way to third. And the Marlins at the corners now. It's Dan Herron coming up. And Hudson is giving up a pair of hits in this second inning.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Marlins have picked up a couple of hits in each of the first 2 innings. You see that ball just missing Real Muto. The Giants had a game the other day against the Angels that ended. The Angels had a rally going, and there was a base hit, and it hit the runner going from first to second, and it was the final out of the inning in the 9th inning. Game was over.
Herron drives it right center field, hits it well. Maxwell won't get it, and it's in the gap, and it's into Triple's alley. Scoring is Real Muto. Here comes Echeverria and Dan Herron, who went to Pepperdine as a hitter first, left there as a pitcher, knocks in 2. And Miami is off to a 2-0 start.
That's the other similarity in this matchup tonight. A great hitter at Auburn was Tim Hudson. So you have Herron, who tore it up at Pepperdine. He finds, in his case, we'll call it doubles alley, and drives in 2 runs. Great swing by Herron, puts his club up by 2.
A lot more volume and a lot more enthusiasm in the dugouts here, because remember, the bullpen's right down the way, so the relief pitchers get to sit in the dugout in this ballpark,
which they like that.
Is a real treat. Unless you're the starters, because then they steal all the seeds and gum.
Look at that little leg kick, stays on it, head right on the ball, goes with it, and gets it right in the gap. Great job by Dan Herron.
2-run double. It's another run out there. D. Gordon bounced to second back in the first. And Gordon lines it down the left field line. That's a base hit. Herron takes a left turn, and he will score. And D. Gordon races into second with a double. The leading hitter in the major leagues knocks in Miami's 3rd run of the inning.
D. Gordon now with a 12-game hitting streak, his 50th base hit on the season. He has been absolutely incredible. Little two-seamer moved away. He didn't try to pull it. If he tries to pull it, he does what Hudson wants you to do. And he lined it past the third baseman, Matt Duffy.
Now Martin Prado. And another runner in scoring position. Gordon's at second base.
You know, we talked about Dan Herron coming off a good start. Hudson, in his last outing, 8 innings, gave up just 2 hits and 3 runs to the Angels and won that game.
Miami's not had a lot of success against Tim Hudson, so there aren't a lot of hitters in uniform that have great numbers against him. The guy at the plate, though, his former teammate, in limited at bats, 12 of them, has 5 hits, including a first inning single. Gordon bluffs, and it's 1-1. Miami already has 6 hits.
You and I were talking about it, Rich. This has been a very good place over the last 4 years, especially for the Marlins to play. The last 4 years, the Marlins are 11-3 in this ballpark.
1-2 to Martin Prado. D. Gordon at second. A 3-run inning here in the top of the second. Check swing, and it's out to Panic, who flips to first. Inning over, but some damage from the bottom of the order. Dan Herron drives in the first 2. His first hit of the year, and D. Gordon has a bunch of hits, and it's 3-0. By Toyota. Let's go places. By Kaiser University. And by AutoNation. Save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit AutoNation.com. Night starting to fall here in San Francisco. 3-0 Miami. Buster Posey against Dan Herron as the bottom of the second begins. And Herron throws a strike to Posey, who's hot right now. Some hitters in the middle of the Giants order are hot. Of course, that's one of the reasons the Giants won 5 in a row before losing 9-1 to San Diego yesterday.
Yeah, you're right. Pagan, who ended the first inning, Posey and Belt all been swinging the bats well.
Posey hits it in the air. Stanton was over in the gap, and he's there, and he makes the catch. Marlins Fan Express is back and ready to bring you straight to the action at Marlins Park. To book this luxury motor coach for your group, call 305-480-2523 or email groups@marlins.com. This is one ballpark where the Marlins really push Giancarlo Stanton into that gap in right center field.
Yeah, a little different with the left-handed bat up there, but we'll see him with right-handed hitters move way into right center field. Give them that right field line.
And one of the reasons you can do that, and Brett Butler was talking about, is it's only 309 feet to right down the line. So if someone does hit a ball down the line, you can get to it pretty quickly. There's a look at Stanton, how far he is. And this is even over a lot for the left-handed bat. Especially with a guy, Tommy, that doesn't throw mid-90s. Herron is mostly mid-80s.
So you would expect left-handers, if they're going to get on a pitch, they'll pull them a little bit.
Herron comes in and misses to Brandon Belt, first baseman for the Giants. Belt, the 27-year-old, had an injury-filled year last year.
Some felt he was off to a poor start because he's kind of been involved in some contract talks. but as you pointed out, all of a sudden, last 4 games, 6 for 13.
A one-hopper. Gordon is waiting and gets the out. And Herron has retired all 5 that he has faced. The Marlins here 4 against the Giants, and then to Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. The Dodgers today hammered the Milwaukee Brewers 14-4. Los Angeles is now 18-10. Miami native Yasmani Grandal had quite an afternoon.
Boy, he sure did.
That one's into left field. Justin Maxwell, who's one of the bats that's not been hot, has a 2-out single. Yasmani Grandal had 4 hits in 4 at-bats. He scored 3 runs. He drove in 8 RBIs for Yasmani Grandal. And the Dodgers won today. He had a pair of home runs, a 3-run shot, actually 2 3-run shots.
Yeah, a couple of former Hurricanes doing a pretty good job. Yonder Alonso with San Diego this year. I think because he's gotten a little help from others. Alonso hitting .337 right now.
There's Brandon Crawford, Giants shortstop. Maxwell's at first. Matt Duffy is on deck. Speaking of college baseball, Tommy Hutton, USA Today coaches poll. Look at all the Florida schools. We had a nice feature. Frank Fort did.
Hey, I got to give a shout out to FAU.
And that's who the feature was on Marlins Live.
You know, you're going to see Florida, Florida State, Miami. Good number of times there, but nice to see the Owls. Good for Coach Mack.
Runner goes, and it's ripped foul.
Rumor has it they may actually, Florida Atlantic, be hosting a regional that would be a first.
And if they did host, they would actually host at Roger Dean.
Very good. By the way, with Brandon Crawford up there, I don't think Bruce Bochy would have thought at this point in time of the season that his shortstop would be leading his club in RBIs.
Into right, Stanton picks it up. Maxwell stops at second. And the Giants have a couple of hits against Herron. And here comes Matt Duffy.
But Crawford having a very solid year. Got a pitch up, was able to turn on that, looked like a fastball.
So here is Duffy. Casey McGee, of course, the former Marlin, the comeback player of the year in the National League as a Marlin, was sent to the San Francisco Giants once the Marlins were able to acquire Martin Prado. And McGee has been slumping, and he's been out of the lineup for a couple of days.
Yeah, all of a sudden, a guy who's really a natural shortstop, Matt Duffy, has been getting an opportunity the last couple of games.
Duffy's ground ball, and that's Prado to Gordon to get the out. And Dan Herron extracts himself from the second. 3-0 Miami. This is a great way to come to a game in San Francisco. Out on the bay, on the sailboat. He's got the sliders and asparagus.
He just built a double-decker slider. Look at that.
Wow. Oh. Wow. That's the Matt Den Decker of sliders. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. And a breaking ball from Hudson. Bends in there for a strike. Stanton, a line drive single to left, back in the first. The Marlins have 6 hits and 3 runs already against a nemesis for sure in Tim Hudson. You could call him an old nemesis for, I guess, a couple reasons. This is his 27th start against the Marlins. And yes, he is 39 years old.
Well, the only 2 teams he's won more games against, the Mets and the Nationals.
0-2. Was it caught? Yes, it was. Buster Posey held it, and Stanton strikes out.
But Tim Hudson has been a guy that has made adjustments, keeps the ball down when he's really on his game, and he kept that off-speed pitch down to get Giancarlo.
Marcell Ozuna and Ichiro also scheduled in Miami's 3rd inning. Ozuna out to Crawford. 2 quick outs for Hudson.
I think the other thing I've always admired about Tim Hudson, he's been a survivor. He's a guy who he's come back from Tommy John surgery. He's been the National League Comeback Player of the Year. He was in 2010. He came back from that awful ankle injury.
You know, a lot of those starts came as an Oakland Athletic. 6 really good years in Oakland. Heck, 6 great years. And Ichiro saw a lot of him. Ichiro arrived in 2001 and does not have good numbers against him. With his out in the 2nd, Ichiro has 66 at bats and just 14 hits. That's in the low 200s. Of course, when he faced Hudson, I mean, that was part of the big 3. That's when the big 3 was rolling.
Yeah, Hudson, Mulder, and Zito. Hudson in those 6 years was 92 and 39.
It's amazing that he didn't win a Cy Young. Barry Zito won a Cy Young as an Athletic. Mulder was the 3rd. Of course, you won't see him in Moneyball, but here's the 0-2. Hudson snares it and flips to first in time, and the Marlins are done in the 3rd. 3-0 Miami. Benefiting breast cancer awareness is Friday the 15th at 7:10 against the Braves. You can purchase the 70s night package at marlins.com/special events. Get a ticket, a 70s night t-shirt, and meet and greet with Greg Brady from the Brady Bunch. Is Marcia going to be there? And enjoy a post-game fireworks show presented by Bacardi. That 70s night, Friday the 15th of May against the Braves.
Marcia. It's always about Marcia.
Hudson reaches out and he pokes it down the line. Ichiro picks it up. Hudson around first, and he'll hold there with a single. So both pitchers have hits. Hudson a leadoff hit here in the third inning.
Well, these two former collegiate hitters, each with base hits, hanging slider there from Herron. And talking about Hudson, his junior year at Auburn, not only did he win 15 games, but he hit .396 and had 18 home runs and 95 RBIs. That's incredible.
He made the All-American team, I believe, as, I don't want to say utility player, but they almost like they made up a position for him as a hitter and as a pitcher. He was so good.
He could have made it as either or.
So Hudson's at first. Here's Aoki. And Aoki takes a strike. Aoki got to the big leagues with Milwaukee after 8 years for the Yakult Swallows. He played a lot and he played well for the Brewers. Had a high on base percentage, .356. Stole bases. On a hop, Gordon knocks it down. Backhand, Echeverria's turn is in time. Not the prettiest of plays. Gordon is really smarting right now after taking that one off the chest and is trying to walk it off in shallow right field.
Well, to play it off the Giants second baseman, no panic on the part of D. Gordon. Backhand flip after he recovered and gets it to Echeverria, and just like that, a 4-6-3 double play. Nicely done.
Both Panic and Gordon natural shortstops. Gordon, of course, made the transition over to second last year.
And then you have playing third base, Matt Duffy for the Giants tonight. He's a natural shortstop.
And of course, what position did Buster Posey play when he first got to Florida State? He was a shortstop.
He was a shortstop.
So here is Panic. Struck out back in the first. And it's 2-0. Got him out in front. Echeverria is out. And it's Ichiro who steps in front of Ozuna and makes the catch. Good night so far for Dan Harris. 3-0 Miami.
bobbled that ball, but he was still able to turn the double play. Had a chance to talk to D. Gordon. He was very candid. He said early on in his career, he really didn't value defense, but that's something that has really changed. And we know that he's been working with Perry Hill to get better defensively, and Hill told me that the area that he feels like D has made the most improvements is just being fundamentally sound. He says that that's really slowed the game down for him, and that's been a big help as Michael Morse gets another hit.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. A lot of work with Perry Hill and the middle infielders, and a lot of credit to both Gordon and to Perry Hill for his improvement.
Well, there are a couple of things going on in that dugout after the inning. You mentioned it last inning with the bullpen in the dugout until someone has to go down and warm up. They're able to interact with the guys, and Brian Morris was over there. They were over there having some fun with D. Gordon. They usually don't get to do that.
No, this is like a holiday for them. Morris is at first, and Real Muto on a hop to short. Crawford panic in time.
And lost in all of that, another super swing by Michael Morse to get his second hit tonight.
And I think it's worth noting that both those hits were to right field. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form in the accounts and descriptions of this game. This game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Other games have at it, but this game. Echeverria singled in the second. If you're just joining us, the Marlins got to Tim Hudson for 3 runs in the second, and it was this part of the lineup. Morse, Echeverria with hits, and then with 2 outs, Dan Herron doubled into right center to drive in both. Pitch misses outside, and then D. Gordon followed with a double down the left field line to score Herron. And the Marlins have a 3-0 lead with 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning.
Looks like Tim Hudson's changed his game plan a little bit. He's throwing a few more curveballs, a few more off-speed pitches.
There's been talk this year that this will be the last year in Tim Hudson's career. He's talked about retiring and staying at home a lot more. Out of Phoenix City, Alabama. Echeverria up the middle. Crawford across the diamond. 6 pitches for Tim Hudson and 3 outs. And a 3-0 lead for Miami. Is brought to you by Checkers. Get Checkers authentic Philly cheesesteak. Try the new meatball sub. Pick yours. City by the Bay, late night with the fish. It's not really that late at night. Past 11 on the East Coast.
We haven't gotten to the midnight hour yet.
No, I think when it gets really late, then we bust out the late night music. Angel Pagan Buster Posey and Brandon Belt. Bottom 4 against Dan Herron. 3 hits for the Giants. You see the wind blowing. It's kind of blowing from right to left. So from the right field foul pole across to left field. Might be tough to carry it out in right. But you might get a little boost if you pull it down the left field line.
Might not be any splashdown hits.
And a swing and a miss. Giants are hoping to keep Pagan healthy. He did not play in the postseason last year. Had an injury late in September.
Really, the last 2 years, he's played less than 100 games each of the last 2 years.
But you know what, Tommy? When he's played, he's been a really good player for the Giants. Last year, 300 average. 389 slugging, 21 doubles, really good defense, stole some bases, had a couple big home runs in the 2012 World Series postseason.
He's the kind of guy, whether he's hitting leadoff or as he is tonight hitting third, he really jump starts their offense. He's an energized type player. Bruce Bochy, believe it or not, his 9th year with the Giants. Bruce Bochy loves him in that lineup.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Jam shot from Herron. It's one of those guys, and Herron, you have used the term a right-handed Mark Burley in talking about Herron this year. It's amazing at 84, 85, how many pitches he gets in on the hands of hitters.
Just enough with a cutter, especially to left-handers.
Off of Herron's foot, Prado barehands and safe. Just safe at first.
Hey, hope that Dan Herron's all right. Looked like he caught him on the foot or ankle. It's going to be a base hit, infield base hit for Pagan. A lot of other runners are thrown out. A good reaction play by Martin Prado. There it is off the foot. Here comes Prado with the bare hand. But Pagan runs well and just beat it out.
And he's well past, well, not past, but on the bag by the time the ball hits the back of the glove. And here's Posey, who flied to right back in the second. One of the constants, along with a dynamite starting rotation for the Giants World Championships, the 3 and 5 seasons, is this guy. Buster Posey, Rookie of the Year in 2010. The year the Giants won that first of the 3. A couple All-Star teams after that. MVP in 2012.
What a year in 2012 for Posey. 336, 24 home runs, 103 RBIs.
And another really good year last year. That ground ball's out to Echeverria. Gordon's turn is in time.
Boy, that was set up by getting ahead.
Two outs here in the 4th. Saturday, Major League Baseball and Fox Sports 1 returns. Doubleheader, division rivalries. Royals, Tigers, and then the Braves and the Nationals. Coverage starts 12:30 Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1.
If Dan Herron's not ahead 0-2, he can't make this pitch. Just off the plate, gets Posey to pull it for the double play ball.
Brandon Belt reaches out and smacks one into right field. And the double play ball taking care of 2 outs. Belt is aboard. Here's Justin Maxwell. Alex Rodriguez homering, 661, passing Willie Mays, who just had a birthday here a couple nights ago.
Yeah, say hey kid, turned 84.
The tapper. Herron hesitated, picks it up, throws, and just gets a swift Justin Maxwell. 4 innings in the books. Dan Herron looks sharp, and Miami leads it 3-0. Top of the 5th, as night falls across the bay. Our Geico Marlins moment in this date in history. Bruce Avon hits the Marlins' first pinch hit grand slam and win over the Dodgers in Los Angeles. In San Francisco, oh, now this guy has been really going hard. He's got peppers on there, multiple cheeses, still a grill full of burgers, and a boat full of friends.
And Rich, it's a healthy fare out there. The asparagus going with the sliders.
Yeah, but he's making a big mistake, Tom. He's eating lots of chips and filling up on that.
I have a tendency to do the same thing, especially if there's guacamole involved.
Dan Herron, D. Gordon, and Martin Prado against Tim Hudson in the 5th. Herron takes away. It was Herron that knocked one in the gap in right center to drive home the first 2 in the 2nd, and that came with 2 outs.
Yeah, we had that note on Bruce Avon. You realize in 1999, Bruce Avon in 137 games hit .289, had 12 home runs and 70 RBIs. The year in which he hit that grand slam.
A long run for Belt, and that little cutout right behind the ball dude. It's into the seats. Is our guy Roger here for ball dude duties this series? It's a 4-game set. So.
It is a 4-game series. I'm not sure if he's here tonight. I am pretty sure he's going to be here this weekend.
Here's a 1-2. Dan Herron, ladies and gentlemen, is 2 for 2 as he rolls that one into left field.
Well, Dan Herron came into this game saying, I'm a better hitter than this. He was 0 for 10 coming into the game tonight. Came into this game with a 200 career average and has banged out a couple of base hits, one of them driving in 2 runs.
Neither pitcher can get the other one out. Herron's got 2 hits. Hudson's got a hit. And here is D. Gordon. Gordon bounced to second and then lashed a double down the left field line to drive home Herron with the 3rd run of the 2nd inning. And what fun it has been to watch D. Gordon the first 5 weeks of this season.
I mean, he has had 6 2-hit games, 6 3-hit games. He's had a 4-hit game and a 5-hit game. He's working on a 12-game hitting streak right now.
Off of Hudson, picks it up, fires to first, and gets the out. And Gordon hit it right on the button. Hudson got the gate down just in time, or else that was into center field.
Yeah, that had a ticket to center field. It was headed right up the middle. But because Hudson, who we pointed out, a good athlete, got a glove on it, reacted, knew he had to get rid of it quickly because D. Gordon was the runner, and completed the play.
Martin Prado now coming up. Hudson maybe trying to get the feeling back in his left hand.
Boy, even the outs D. Gordon's hitting are hard.
Prado a 1 for 2. Line drive single to right, and he bounced to second. 1 out, almost midway through on what is a chilly night at AT&T Park. Now that is a big popcorn. How much will that run you, Tommy? It does look like he's brought enough for his row, though.
He's got enough for the whole section. Yeah, we see the popcorn here.
Look at this.
We'll probably see lots of.
Don't touch it with your hand.
Probably see lots of cotton candy in Los Angeles, Dodger Stadium.
This is more of a garlic fry popcorn city. Oh-2. Prado into right center field. Herron got a pretty good start, but he's slowly making his way around third. And Prado has another hit at the corners. Here comes Stanton.
Martin Prado had 5 hits in that series in Washington, D.C., coming off a 3-hit game. Remember, got the 3 hits yesterday after he was smacked up on the bicep the game before, and has just driven the ball well tonight. 2 hits tonight.
Forget the movie line, but the line, a man's got to know his limitations. I think Dan Herron embodied that on that play. He started out quickly like, hey, I think I can score, and then realized I'm the starting pitcher. It's cold.
And Stanton's coming up.
Stanton's coming up. I might as well just slow down. Is that a Clint Eastwood line? Stanton drives at center field, hits it well. Back goes Pagan, reaches up, makes the catch. A bullet of a sacrifice fly is going to score Herron, who comes across. Stanton, I mean, the exit speed on that one's got to be up over 100, doesn't it?
It's hard to even write that in my scorebook as a sacked fly. I mean, this ball was whipped into center field. Pagan playing deep. He's there to make the grab, but certainly deep enough. Herron scores easily. That's good for him.
Prado back to first. 107 off the bat. That's the initial report.
It's funny when you see the exit speeds, and they have them listed 10, 12, 15 of them. Giancarlo's like 13 of them.
And I think he's like the first 5 on that list. Ozuna's bounced twice to the left side, to third for a double play, to short for a single out. And that one's going to find center field. The base hit. Prado's going to turn, head for third. Pagan is up and won't throw. Head first slide just in case for Martin Prado, and Ozuna at first. Marcel's got to feel pretty good about that. He's been scuffling, and he drives Prado to third with a 2-out single.
Well, you got to pitch up, too. You don't see Hudson make that mistake very often. But he'd been 1 for 14. And you also realize in this ballpark, because of the spaciousness, the same thing applies at Marlins Park. A lot of runners can go first to third because of where the outfielders have to play.
It's not necessarily a fast, natural surface either. So here's Ichiro. Marlins have picked up a run. Ichiro takes down low.
Well, the Marlins have 10 hits off Tim Hudson.
Mike Redmond and Miami on a 3-city road trip. Dropped 2 of 3 in Washington, but off to a 4-0 start here in San Francisco. A strike to Ichiro. Giants bullpen starts in motion. George Cantos, a right-hander. Outfield a bit towards left center. Breaking ball for a strike. 1-2. Hudson's lone strikeout tonight was Stanton back in the 3rd. Ichiro out to Crawford, shovels it to get the out with panic at second. Another run, and once again Dan Herron's in the middle of it.
lead 4-0 thanks to a sacrifice fly from Giancarlo Stanton. And we know that Stanton leads the National League in RBIs, another ribby for him. He also had success in the top of the first, had that single. And D. Gordon, his teammate, having a little bit of fun after Giancarlo had the hit. D. Gordon looked over at me and he said, no one wants to face Stanton right now. And good reason, Rich and Tommy. Giancarlo Stanton has really warmed up at the plate.
Well, it is California, and historically when he gets to California, he does some damage. Thanks to Jessica. Brandon Crawford against Dan Herron. Crawford hits a high pop, shallow right. Stanton is in, and he makes the catch. And so Dan Herron has the first out of the bottom of the fifth. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready for the Marlins and the Giants. Marlins Live starts thing tomorrow at 9:30. Jessica Blaylock, her first visit to San Francisco, live in San Francisco. Mike Redmond, his traditional Friday chat, and you got right-handers on the mound, Jared Cozart and Tim Lincecum. Here's Matt Duffy. Duffy, another Long Beach State dirtbag.
There are a few of those out there, aren't there?
In fact, we had a trivia question, I believe, a few days ago. The colleges with the most players in the big leagues, and Long Beach State was #1.
By the way, I was just thinking, Rich, of Giancarlo with what you said and how he always heats up when he gets to California. And the first thing that came to my mind was, thank you, Marlins organization, for locking the big guy in and not letting him leave to California. And Marlins fans should thank you for that. You get to watch this guy all the time. He's on your side.
Well, it's fun when you come to San Francisco or Los Angeles or San Diego to see not only Stanton perform, Hudson swings and misses, but to talk to writers, broadcasters, even other players, coaches for the other team about Stanton, what you see every day. They'll ask you about his batting practice. They'll ask you about a certain highlight that they've seen. That line drive home run in Philly seems to be the most popular topic right now because it's still fresh in everyone's mind. It was that laser beam to left that he hit in the day game there. Last year it was that line drive homer to right, I think, that caused so much conversation. Dan Herron, spectacular here tonight. A 1-2-3 fifth and a 4-0 Marlin lead. Action in the ballpark, action on the bay. 4-0 Miami in the 6th. You'll line up Dan Herron, Tim Hudson. How can we have disco music on Sinatra night here at the ballpark?
They're celebrating what would have been the 100th birthday of Frank Sinatra.
What a night it's been for Michael Morse. Not only did he get his World Series ring and just a warm, great ovation and welcome here, but he's got 2 hits. And both of those hits have been into right field. And the Giants have adjusted their infield a bit. They really have brought Brandon Belt off that first base line.
Yeah, they've kind of pinched, or trying to pinch, that area where his 2 base hits have gone. I thought the coolest part of the presentation of the ring was when he got that beautiful Tiffany's box that the ring was in, and he was just holding the box, and all of the Giant players, his teammates from last year, were telling him, open it.
Giants in a dramatic 7-game World Series win over the Kansas City Royals last year. It's not often that Game 7 of a World Series ends with the tying run at third base. Madison Bumgarner, who came in in the 5th inning of Game 7 and brought it home with just an incredible performance out of the pen, as Morse swings and misses at a fastball and strikes out.
And of course, Michael Morse, huge in Game 5 of the championship series against the Cardinals, a huge pinch hit home run.
And a big RBI in that Game 7 of the World Series. Just 30 days left before FIFA Women's World Cup begins. Alex Morgan leads the U.S. women's national team against the best teams in the world in search of their 3rd World Cup championship. The only place you can see the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup is on Fox and Fox Sports 1. It begins in 30 days. JT Realmuto bounced hard to third, bounced hard to short, and an 0 for 2. He has scored a run. And another roller out to short. Crawford across the diamond, and Realmuto out number 2.
You and I were talking about this last week, I think, and saw it today. I know you saw it. We were talking about it earlier. The fact that Jared Saltalamacchia has signed a minor league contract with the Diamondbacks organization.
Diamondbacks have really struggled getting any production from their catchers, and so they're taking a chance that somehow Saltalamacchia can pull it together. Echeverria fouls it off himself, and the count is 0-1. Mike Redmond, a lot of friends and family down from Spokane, Washington. A lot of nonstop flights on Alaska Airlines from Spokane into the 3 Bay Area airports: San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose.
What do you check prices to see which airport gives you the best fare?
Just like South Florida, when you're flying into South Florida, you can check all 3 airports.
Could be Miami, Fort Lauderdale, maybe West Palm.
Just check that little box on Orbitz. It'll get you, all 3 airports' prices. 2 balls and a strike. And Echeverria into right field. His 2nd hit of the night. He's 2 for 3. And that brings up the Marlins' best hitter of the night, Dan Herron.
Boy, it has been fun watching Echeverria all year, inside out. So his base hits tonight have been in that direction, but then we've seen him this year turn on balls and pull pitches and hit apart into left field. And we talked about it. His average on the road now near 450 with a couple of hits tonight.
That one fouled off. And now, not only are the relievers in the dugout, but Frank Menachino has a buddy, and it's Reed Cornelius, the bullpen coach.
He's usually down in the bullpen, so Frank can talk with Reed about some stuff. First day into a new city, and the Marlins traveled from Washington, D.C. after the game. But the first day in, the ball club always comes out and hits early, about 2 o'clock. Of course, under the watchful eye of the coaching staff, Frank and Lenny Harris and Mike Redmond and the rest of the staff.
Well, tonight they've come out and hit early as well. Miami got 3 runs in the 2nd. They added 1 in the 5th. Herron's been in the middle of both of those rallies. The 2-run double in the second, leadoff single, and he scored the run in the 5th. So if you're Tim Hudson, the 0-2, he got him. Looked like a changeup, came in and struck him out. Marlins leave a runner and lead it still 4-0. The spatula won't do it, but this guy's been grilling burgers on the bay for the last hour, hour and a half. He'll grill one and then eat one, and then still the spatula is still, yeah, there you go. Atta bit.
Oh yeah, just
nice, yeah.
Go for it.
Way to go. You can join Marlin players, coaches, front office staff at the annual Fish and Chips Double or Nothing Casino Party on Thursday, May 21st at Marlins Park. An evening of poker, blackjack, craps, and dominoes. Live music, hors d'oeuvres, and a silent auction. Reserve your spot at marlins.com/fish and chips. Meanwhile, back at AT Park, Dan Herron's marvelous night continues. Nori Aoki, Joe Panik, Angel Pagan. Top of the order for the Giants. Herron's doing it with the bat, and he's doing it on the mound. He's given up just 5 hits. All of them singles. You see first pitch strikes. He's been efficient out in front.
Boy, that's such a key. First pitch strikes. Look at how Herron let that ball go. D. Gordon.
Whoa, that was close. Aoki gets up the line quickly.
Herron, a veteran pitcher, he didn't want to mess that play up and deflect it and maybe have Aoki get an infield base hit. So watch this. Goes to reach. Nope. I know that D. Gordon's right there for it. It was a little closer at first than I thought it would be. But Herron did the right thing.
Now Joe Panik. Panik has struck out and popped out. 9:30 start tomorrow night for Marlins Live. There's your cotton candy, Tommy Hutton. You've been looking for some. You thought you'd have to wait until Los Angeles.
It seems to come out fresher on the West Coast, generally speaking.
There's a clown and an elephant on that cotton candy. It counts 3-1. Jared Kozar, Tim Lincecum tomorrow night. In the air to center, Ozuna back. Now he has to go in, and now he has to really get going in.
Yeah, keep your eye on those flags
to make the catch.
There was a ball that dropped in front of Marcell Ozuna in D.C. So you got to keep your eye on the flag, see how the wind's blowing. And if you notice tonight, Dan Herron, the way he's worked, there have not been a lot of balls squared up. He's had a lot of hitters out in front. Little shallow fly balls. He's got a couple of double plays made behind him.
He said on Marlins Live before the ballgame he loves pitching here in this ballpark. His two favorite places to pitch, San Francisco and Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium.
Well, he's in great shape as far as pitch count. 72 pitches.
And he gets to pitch in both of the ballparks on this road trip. He'll pitch here, opening the series here, and then obviously his turn will come up in the 3-game series at Dodger Stadium, which starts
probably Tuesday.
So he starts on Monday. He'll probably be in there on a Tuesday. 2-0 to Pagan. And a strike from Herron. Ozuna this time makes the catch. And Dan Herron has retired 7 straight. To the 7th we go. Gigantes. T-Mobile game changer. Bruce Bochy, one of 10 managers with 3 World Series titles, and the other 9 are in the Hall of Fame. He took San Diego to the World Series as well. He's the active win leader among skippers in the big leagues, and the Giants have never lost a postseason series under Bochy.
Pretty impressive, and he will go into the Hall of Fame as well. And that's pretty impressive.
D. Gordon into right field. My goodness, every night it's not just 1 hit, it's 2 or 3 hits. Tonight he is 2 for 4 as he rifles a single to right. His hit streak is at 12 games, and he's 2 for 4 tonight in our Toyota trend. Marlin number 1 and 2 hitters. Largely the work of D. Gordon, but you know what? Martin Prado is 2 for 3 tonight. And so Prado has pushed his average up to 306.
How about D's 15th multi-hit game this year?
How about a 432 average? That's what Gordon has right now. And I'll tell you, Tommy, having watched him now, and this is game number 29, he's not just a guy that's getting infield hits, so little dribblers and bunts and.
Well, he's 2 base hits tonight.
And doing it with speed, man. He's hitting the ball on the nose. See the multi-hit leaders right behind Matt Carpenter. And Hudson, as you pointed out, quick feet, knows how to hold runners. And he's out.
Wow.
Gordon is picked off. Belt with the tag. The Tommy Hutton scouting report, he told you Tim Hudson had really quick feet.
Yeah, and he gets help. Good first baseman Brandon Belt, being a left-hander, he's got that glove on that side, gets the tag down in a hurry. If you're a right-handed first baseman, even if you're quick, you can't get it down that fast.
Marlins are thinking about appealing here. Gordon coming to the bench offered no argument. Still, that doesn't tell you one way or the other. Redmond waiting, and he decides to head back into the dugout. The evidence in the Marlins video room not conclusive enough, and it appears as if D. Gordon was out.
Marlins video coordinator Colin McRae and replay coordinator Pat Shine hard at work. The video coordinator and replay coordinator with the Giants is former shortstop Sean Dunston.
How about that?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a Shawnometer for him on the replay sequence, as there used to be at Wrigley Field when he was the Cubs shortstop. Prado takes outside. I think that would make a terrific reality show filled with pressure and suspense, and that is replay, Major League Replay Room, and just have a camera on a guy like a Dunston or a Pat Shine, because they're looking at multiple angles, and while you sit at home
and having to do it quickly.
Absolutely, they've got like 30 seconds to figure out, and there's a lot of pressure on the line. We've seen how losing a challenge can really affect you late in a game. Prado with another line drive for a hit. 3 for 4 is Martin Prado.
Back-to-back 3-hit games for Martin Prado. He was 3 for 5 yesterday. And his first 2 hits into right center. This time he turns on one and pulls it over the head of the shortstop, Brandon Crawford.
Tim Hudson at 86 pitches. Nobody throwing in San Francisco's bullpen, and Stanton is 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly that was more line drive than fly. His single came back in the first.
It's kind of an interesting line for Hudson, and he's given up 13 hits, but he hasn't walked anybody. That's just 3 strikeouts. You see pitchers out there, sometimes they'll maybe give up 7 hits, 7, 8 hits, and walk 4 or 5 guys. Well, you're talking about the same amount of base runners.
Stanton takes in, and it's 3-0. George Contos was up before, and now he is jogging down to the Giants bullpen to get loose again. All right, here's that 3-0 count with Stanton, Tommy. You talked about it a couple days ago.
Yeah, I had conversations with Mike Redmond, with Frank Menachino, with Lenny Harris about it. They all agreed that in order to have success on 3-0, and Stanton does have the green light, and you saw he got a breaking ball, is you have to feel comfortable with it. And if you personally aren't comfortable with it, then you're better off not swinging 3-0.
He was comfortable there. Line it to right. Diving try. It's caught. And Stanton is out. Justin Maxwell kind of bounced as he hit the ground. His glove did as well, but I think he held it.
Well, I tell you, this just isn't right. This ball is hammered the other way. And it's caught by Maxwell, who always has been a very athletic and terrific outfielder. But to see Stanton hit a couple of balls the way he has tonight to center and then to right field, very impressive.
Yeah, and he definitely held it. He did bounce once he hit the ground, but it was all sealed up in that glove. That's 108 miles an hour off the bat to right.
So his outs are even going to be recorded.
Well, he struck out once, Stan has tonight, but he's hit a line drive single to left that was 108, I believe. The bolt that was a sacrifice fly to center, I think, was 110, and then that was 108 to right. Marcell Ozuna finally got a hit in the fifth. He'd been struggling and looking for a hit for a few days now. He's 1 for 3 in the ball game.
The other thing I think about Marcell, we were talking about him earlier. I think when he gets that first home run out of the way, I think things will fall into place a little better for him too. Oh, just like that.
Deep and gone. Marcell Ozuna, a 2-run shot, 6-0 Miami. And let's hope things fall into place. They certainly did on that sequence.
Let it fall into place. That ball was rocketed out of here. Ichiro can kid him. They have a great relationship. Ichiro can say, well, you've got as many as I do now.
Yeah, it's a silent treatment.
The silent treatment.
Yeah, see, now the relievers love that. They get to even do the silent treatment. I don't know that anyone's given him a high five or a pat on the back yet. He's just suffering there right now.
And you're right. The bullpen gets to be a part of it.
Look at Gordon is over there saying, can I shake his hand, please? Still, this is the longest silent treatment I think I've ever seen. Who's going to crack first? Look at Ozuna's. He's looking for somebody.
He's like
oh, no, he's patting guys on the back. Still nobody. Still no love. That's a pretty good illustration of what that clubhouse is like right now. Ichiro into right center field, and his hit streak goes to 8 games. And that's it for Tim Hudson. This may be, and I don't have it right off the top of my list,
most hits he's ever allowed.
It is. It's a career high. You would expect that in his great career he's had some rough nights, but 15 hits, 6 runs, and a Wes Kendall Toyota called to the pen. A couple of hitters in the middle of the order. Marcell Ozuna and Michael Morse have enjoyed multiple hit nights. Marlins have knocked Tim Hudson out. George Contos is in, and it's Morse who is 2 for 3. Both of his hits hard shots through the right side, which is open right now with Ichiro being held at first in a 6-0 Miami lead. 2 runs here in the 7th.
I'll tell you the importance of seeing Ozuna and Michael Morse swing the bat the way they have. Because those two guys were somewhat struggling, there wasn't really anybody right behind Stanton in the middle of the lineup. So once those guys get going, and if Stanton continues to swing the bat the way he has, all of a sudden you got something right in the middle of the lineup.
Here's an illustration of that hidden in D. Gordon's hit streak, Tommy. D. Gordon now has hit in 12 straight games. He is 27 for 52, but he scored just 7 runs in that span. Morse pulls it foul, and that's a surprising number, especially with Stanton leading the majors with 28 runs driven in. Gordon just 7 runs in the 52 at bats during his 12-game hit streak. 27 hits.
That's amazing.
Ichiro away. Morse drives it right center, hits it pretty well. Maxwell in and back, and he makes the catch. Miami tacks on 2 more. It took a while to get a pat on the back. Marcell Ozuna to left. And a 6-0 Miami lead now. The bottom of the 7th. Our Jeep Flashback Friday is in play. So is a line drive into center field by Buster Posey. And the Giants are off to a leadoff hit here in the bottom of the 7th. Tonight, post the best vintage Marlins photo of yourself. Use the hashtag Flashback Marlins. And we will select the best photo and feature it prominently on our post-game extravaganza, Marlins Live. This is coming up live. That's why it's called Marlins Live here. Late night with the Fish in San Francisco. Midnight back home. Actually just past midnight. Dan Herron back on the mound. Normally you would say the Marlins have provided him with 6 runs, but he's had a pretty good hand in a lot of those runs.
Yes, 12th career multi-hit game. He scored a couple of runs, has 2 RBIs. Really surprised with Posey getting that base hit on the first pitch. We haven't seen him swing first pitch tonight because he's 10 for 16 now on first pitches. But look at the run support. Dan Herron has gotten some. Pitchers always like that.
As you noted, for Tim Hudson, it's the highest hit total he's ever given up in his career. The last Giant starter to give up that many hits was Gaylord Perry in 1968.
Wow. 1968.
Who was on that starting staff in the late 60s? Juan Marichal, Gaylord Perry.
Trying to think if Mike McCormick, left-handed pitcher, was.
I don't know if Ron Bryant was.
Bryant was in the 70s.
In the San Francisco. Yeah, that's into right field. Stanton over to cut it off. It's to the wall. Posey on his way to third. Belt will stop at second, and the Giants are in business with a couple of hits to start the 7th, and that might start Miami's bullpen in motion. Brandon Belt is 2 for 3, including this double.
Belt, one of those hitters we talked about earlier that's been swinging the bat well lately, and that's his 2nd hit tonight. Brandon Belt now 8 hits in his last 16 at bats.
Justin Maxwell. Nick Massett on his way down to the bullpen. Maxwell getting some time. Hunter Pence not quite ready. He's headed out, it sounds like, on a minor league rehab. So you would think for Pence, who hasn't played at all since spring training when he broke that wrist, it's going to be at least a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks before he's game ready. Herron flips that up there at 83 miles an hour, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, that's about right. In talking with Bruce Bochy about that, he didn't have much spring training. He did take BP today, but it'll take 2-3 weeks before he's ready to play. But I think we've seen this year different players that had injuries in the spring, how it's taken them a while to get going. Jason Worth, one in particular.
Right center, Stanton's playing out there, and he makes the catch. Belt tags at second, holds there. Posey scores. That's a great illustration of where the Marlins play Stanton against right-handed bats in this ballpark. I think against a lot of teams, that's extra bases, maybe even a triple.
Yeah, Maxwell hits this ball pretty well into the gap, but there's Stanton right there. And doesn't have to go that far to his right to make the catch. So it's something that we first saw last year, and I know you and I both had conversations with Brett Butler, who positions the outfielders, about that.
So the Giants get that first run home. That one is hit right center deep. Stanton back. The park will hold it, and Stanton will catch it. And again, in deepest, darkest right center field. And this was with a left-handed bat at the plate. Stanton actually goes into center field, the center field portion of the triples alley, and makes the catch.
Boy, there's a lot of ballparks that ball's a home run. And I think if my memory's correct, the Marlins were only burnt once on Stanton playing so far over into the gap last year. Our producer, John Seltzer, reminding us might have been Hunter Pence who hit a triple.
He just wants us to say Hunter Pence.
He just wants us to say his name.
Yeah. Duffy. Now that's down the right field line, and it's fair. And Stanton picks it up, and Duffy's got himself a double. The Giants pick up the run. It's 6-2. But an illustration, as the Marlins feel, that if you're in the right center gap, any ball down the line is going to be a double anyways. Stanton is pointing at the line. And you know what? The Marlins may look at this on replay.
See, we had a ball the other day that we actually saw chalk, and there was no replay. This, I do not see chalk. I just see dirt.
Boy, it's dirt. Miami's looking at it. Mike Redmond on the rail. JT Realmuto is stalling. That right now is the best look that we have. Major League Baseball has the Giants telecast, our telecast, and a few of their own cameras. And it doesn't look like the Marlins are going to challenge it. Mike Redmond's on his way out to the mound.
Well, it has a little, but you didn't see chalk come up. But you could see a little indentation on that line.
Nick Massett is ready. Mike Redmond came out, and you don't see this often where the Marlins skipper comes out and talks to his starter and doesn't lift him. But Redmond, certainly Herron has been around long enough that you would trust anything Herron had to say. It's not too wild in grandeur and such, but
yeah, and I think you're right. I think that's exactly what Mike Redmond wanted to hear. They really didn't talk about Hector Sanchez, the pinch hitter. It was more just about Dan Herron. All right, you have 2 out. Get this last hitter. This can be your last out.
And so Hector Sanchez with Duffy at second, and Herron gets a strike, and it's 0-1. The rarity here is that the Giants have 2 runs and they haven't hit a home run. Almost all of Herron's runs this year have been home runs, or home run driven. Nice job by Realmuto to knock it down.
You and I were talking before the game about JT Realmuto, more about his offense, and you look, and he came into the game with the batting average around 250. But he's had key at bats. He's made contact when you wanted contact. He's moved runners. He's made plays like that.
I think the Marlins have been able to get exactly what they wanted out of Realmuto, and that was solidify the catching spot defensively and add better at bats. And he's given that to them. Pitchers like throwing to him. He's an extremely athletic catcher, having been a shortstop in high school.
And his aptitude is terrific.
So Hector Sanchez with a 1-2 count. Pinch hitting. Here in the bottom of the 7th. It's a 4-run game. 6-2 Marlin lead. Massett ready in the pen. Herron. A fly ball to center. Ozuna is there, and he makes the catch. Inning over. Giants put 2 on the board. Miami still leads at 6-2.
Yeah, the Marlins struck early thanks to Dan Herron with a double and 2 RBIs. How about D. Gordon? He follows with a double, drives home Herron. And then after a sac fly by Giancarlo, Marcell Ozuna, his first home run of the year, gets the longest silent treatment I think I've ever seen in any dugout. They were having a lot of fun, and this ball club is a lot of fun to watch.
Dan Herron getting handshakes. Herron gets through the 7th. He does give up a couple of runs. Both of them earned. Didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 3. And he'll turn it over to Miami's bullpen with at least a 4-run lead. JT Realmuto. Hey, there's been a Christian Yelich sighting.
Nice to know that his flight from Miami made it.
He is not eligible to play tonight. He'll be put back up on the active roster, which would mean a corresponding move. We may hear it after the game, or it may be tomorrow that the Marlins decide what to do. Gene Machi.
And I would think if all of that falls into place, we could see Christian Yelich in the Marlins lineup tomorrow night.
But as you said at the outset of our telecast, you do not anticipate Yelich being in the 2 spot.
No.
And there's a variety of places you could put him. He's such a versatile hitter.
You could do exactly what Mike Redmond did tonight with Ichiro. You could have Yelich in the number 5 spot, break up the right-handed bats, and maybe change it around against a left-handed pitcher. But the good thing, he played the 3 games in Jupiter. He hit the ball well. He had a stolen base, was running well.
You know, and the funny thing, it'll be interesting to see if he's able to carry it over. The day he injured his back, Realmuto, another sharp ground ball. Crawford throws him out. Yelich had made an adjustment with Frank Menechino in the cage, and during batting practice that day, they had spotted something on videotape that he was closing his front side a little too much. They made that small adjustment. All of a sudden, man, the line drives were flowing and jumping. But he was dealing with a sore back, and it was just too much. So the challenge is to reconstruct that and try to get that feeling back if and when he's back in the lineup, which is probably tomorrow night.
Yeah, Yelich had that tough series in New York against the Mets. A lot of strikeouts, more strikeouts than we'd ever seen.
Jeff Mathis also with the ball club, rehabbing the broken hand. I like the fact that Mathis is on this road trip for the benefit not only of himself but for JT Realmuto, because Mathis is an invaluable resource with Realmuto, a rookie in the big leagues. That cast is off. He's resuming baseball activities.
Saw Jeff Mathis in Washington, D.C. in the cage, taking swings with one hand, with the other hand, not the broken one, and just strengthening there. His legs are in good shape, he said.
Echeverria takes down low. Danny Echeverria is 2 for 3. Reed Brignac on deck.
Herron was probably lobbying to try to get one more AB.
But he's a homer and a triple away from the cycle. Crawford charging, and he gets the out. 2 ground balls to the Giants' athletic shortstop. Fish Family, the exclusive loyalty program of Miami Marlin fans, and now Fish Family members can get bonus points during every Marlins road telecast. This would be a road telecast. To learn more, log in, go to marlins.com/fishfamily. And for all the Fish Family members who tuned in tonight, the bonus code is just simply Marlins. Just Marlins, that's it.
We'll try to make it easy.
And you know what, we need to change that read. It's not tonight. It's morning, right? It's 12:20 in the morning back home. AT Park in San Francisco. Reed Brignac. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
Wonder if that guy's still grilling burgers out on his boat.
I would think they all got out of their boat and are up at the Ghirardelli Chocolate Factory, Ghirardelli Square, for dessert. Because it was a good hour. There you go. Little cable car to the stars or up to Ghirardelli. It was a good hour and a half of solid grilling, burger after burger, kebab after kebab.
They could be headed over to Fisherman's Wharf, maybe for some Irish coffee.
Or the guests realized that the boat was too small to have a restroom on it. Brignac has run the count back to 2-2. Machi, second out of the Giants bullpen. And he strikes out Brignac. 1-2-3 go to Fish. 6-2 Miami. Bottom of the 8th. Now it's late night with the Fish.
Now we got the groove going.
Now the music is back. High above AT&T Park. You know, on Frank Sinatra night here in San Francisco, you could just see the Rat Pack martinis flowing.
Sammy, Dean,
in a smoking jacket. Shirley MacLaine is there too. For moral support. Top of the order for the Giants. Mike Dunn is in for Miami. It's the bottom of the 8th. And the Marlins hope that their bullpen can hold this 4-run lead. Mike Dunn, first out of the pen. Aoki, Joe Panik, and Angel Pagan for the Giants. And Aoki shoots it foul.
It's just looking, Rich, at the San Diego-Arizona box score. Arizona 11-0 lead. We talked about Salta Lamakia signing a minor league contract with the Diamondbacks because their catching has really struggled. Tuffy Goswitch, one of their catchers who's really struggled, is 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs tonight.
Sometimes that's how it works. Aoki gets out of the box quickly. Etch has got to hurry. He does, and throws him out. Nice play by Adeiny Echeverria. Yeah, there it is. That's the car that stole the home run, the green one, from Jorge Cantu. The top of it over the fence. He would have had 30. Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
But it is a Chevron car, so it fits. Jared Cozart and Tim Lincecum go tomorrow. Our Chevron starters for tomorrow. Yeah, the top, that surfboard on top. Jorge Cantu at the top of that. He would finish with 29 home runs. The Marlins nearly had the first infield to all have 30 or more homers in the season.
Now the Dodgers, a number of years ago, had 4 players with 30, but a couple of them were outfielders. I think Reggie Smith and Dusty Baker.
As it is, I believe the Marlins were the first team to ever have 4 infielders with 20, let alone get to 30, as they came up just that one Jorge Cantu homer shy. I bet he had a really good Cinco de Mayo. 2-0 pitch. And a left. Joe Panik inside outs one. He's 1 for 4, and that'll bring up Angel Pagan.
Jorge might have been texting Alfredo Amezaga. Cinco de Mayo.
So Pagan, the switch hitter, flips around against Mike Dunn. Breaking ball for a strike. Giants have been really, really tough to beat here at home. And that's not just this year, but I mean, it continues this year.
That's why it's been impressive what the Marlins have done over the last 4 years here.
That one line foul. Giants had an 8-game home win streak snapped in the loss to San Diego. Counts 0-2.
Well, certainly an area, obviously they miss Hunter Pence, where they've struggled is scoring runs. They've averaged just a little over 3 runs a game through their first 28 games.
And 2. Posey on deck. It's a 4-game series in San Francisco. Night game obviously tomorrow, and also a night game on Saturday. 6 o'clock local start, 9 o'clock start back on the East Coast. Echeverria, weird bounce, makes the adjustment. They'll not get Pagan. That ball had some wicked English, and it almost bounced back across Echeverria and by him.
Ball looked like it was hit off the end, a kind of a cue shot. Echeverria goes to the hole. It hits and kicks back the other way, and look at how he adjusts and makes a good feed. Pagan runs so well. It really wasn't going to be a double play ball, but great to get that out. This is going to be a fun series with these 2 shortstops. Brandon Crawford, one of the better shortstops in the league. So when you have Crawford and Echeverria, it's going to be fun watching these guys make some plays.
I think it'll be a fun series overall, because in this ballpark The Giants play low-scoring games, tight games. The Marlins and the Giants very similar in the way they started the season. Miami traditionally plays very well here. They've continued that here tonight.
Well, if the Marlins win this game, they'll go to 14-15, and the Giants will be 14-15.
Mark Wagner called the strike. Buster Posey is arguing his case.
You know, I looked today before all the games were played today.
That's got part of the plate. That's a strike.
There were 8 teams in the National League, either 2 games under or 2 games over 500.
Posey tied up. Prado to second in time. And Mike Dunn looks sharp. The beat goes on, and the Fish lead at 6-2. San Francisco. Follow the Marlins all season long. MLB.com @bat, #1 app for live baseball. Up to the moment highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews. Got that widget, I think, on there as well. StatCast and more. MLB.com @bat for your smartphone or tablet. The pitch tracking widget. Where would we be without a pitch tracking widget?
One of my favorites.
Jeremy Affeldt comes in.
This guy is a postseason widget.
He is, you know,
he's a postseason wizard.
At the start of the night, I asked Mike Krukow of Giants Television what the secret sauce or the thread that was common for the 3 World Championships in 5 years. D. Gordon swings and misses. And starting pitching jumps out, certainly. You know, Madison Bumgarner and all of that. Well, the other thread that may not be so prominent or recognizable is outstanding relief pitching, including this guy. Hey, D. Gordon has 3 hits.
Hey, another 3-hit game. His 7th 3-hit game already.
Wow, stay hot. Gordon, 3 hits yesterday, 3 more hits tonight.
Look how he stays back on that breaking ball, just lets it get to him, and then slaps it into that hole on the left side. Jeremy Affeldt did not give up a run in the postseason last year.
I don't think Jeremy Affeldt's given up a run in the postseason in the last 4 or 5 years. He's actually got a scoreless outing in 22 consecutive postseason games. It's the 2nd longest playoff streak in Major League history. Mariano Rivera at 23, and Jeremy Affeldt's right behind him. Obviously, yeah, the 1 year Lincecum was in the pen. He was outstanding.
You know, and they've done it with different closers.
Prado's up. Now, Prado himself has had quite a night. He's 3 for 4. It's amazing. Gordon came into this ballgame hitting .430. He has 3 hits. and his average has only gone up 7 points. I mean, it's early May, so you'd expect a bigger move than that. But that's how high he's hitting right now, 437. And Affeldt misses away. Stanton is on deck. Affeldt's last postseason run allowed was Game 1 of the 2010 World Series.
And the Marlins tonight have banged out more hits than they have in any game this year, 16.
Two and two.
All right.
Gordon was picked off back in the 7th. If there's one area D. Gordon would like to improve on, it's been his base stealing. He is 12 of 18. That pickoff will not go as it caught stealing. Prado, a little tapper, slowly hit. Too slow to get the out at second. And Crawford gets the out at first instead. With Stanton coming up, let's check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Well, for those of you who have stayed up late with us tonight, be sure to stick around for a little bit longer because we've got our Marlins Live post-game show coming up. Perfect timing by D. Gordon to get another hit. We're going to be talking about those top spots producing. Also, the ring's the thing. Michael Morse getting his championship ring before the start of this game. We'll try and get a close-up look at it. And then finally, the silent treatment. Marcell Ozuna gets his first home run of the season, and it took forever to celebrate. But D. Gordon said that was well worth it because it was pretty good. That's all coming up on our Marlins Live post-game show.
All right, Jessica, we will be with you as well. We'll see you then. Giancarlo Stanton, who has one hit, but he's hit 3 balls extremely hard. He's 1 for 3 with the sacrifice flies. Last out was a line drive to right. Justin Maxwell made a diving catch. Big breaking ball, he swings and misses.
Not too often late in a game does Giancarlo see a left-hander.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Stanton takes a strike. Fastball from Affeldt. It's 2-2. Affeldt is also the answer to a great trivia question. Remember that terrific performance by Madison Bumgarner in Game 7 of the World Series. Bumgarner did not get the win. Affeldt got the win in relief of Jake Peavy, who started the game. Stanton into left field. That's a base hit. Gordon round third. Brett Butler will send him. Throw to the plate. And Gordon is safe without a slide. Posey did get a glove on him. We were just talking about Jake. And Gordon got his foot on the plate before the tag. Posey is looking up at the scoreboard to look at the replay.
Well, he needed to get a little help from Marcell Ozuna, who was not there to give him the help. Did he touch the plate? Barely. But you'd like to see Marcell Ozuna, the on-deck hitter, up there letting him know one way or the other. Also trying to get that bat out of the way as well.
Yeah, Ozuna was late to the plate.
But another hard hit ball by Giancarlo.
So Stan with an RBI single. He's driven in 2. And his major league leading total is now 28 driven in. And D. Gordon.
Well, that last step as he came to touch the plate.
If not a good sign at all. We'll get a report if we can. Ozuna sprays a ground ball. Belts at first. Affeldt over to get it and pushes Stanton to third. Here's the play.
See him reach out. He really reaches with that left leg to try to get the plate before the tag of Posey.
Here's Ichiro with a chance to drive in a run. It's 7-2 Miami. Stanton waiting at third. Well, Gordon back in the dugout, moving a little better it seems.
That's good to see.
Yeah, it is. I mean, 3 more hits tonight for Gordon. The Marlins have 17 hits.
First 4 hitters in the lineup have 10 hits between Gordon, Prado, Stanton, and Ozuna.
Michael Morse has a pair of hits. Danny Echeverria has 2. Dan Herron has 2 tonight. Ichiro singled in the 7th. His hit streak is now at 8 straight. And a little dribbler. Affeldt has it and fires to first in time to get the out. Inning over. Miami adds a run. And fingers crossed on D. Gordon at 7-2. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. By Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by Kaiser University. In San Francisco, D. Gordon is back out for the bottom of the 9th, which is a great sign. Moving a lot better than he did when he arrived in the dugout after scoring that run. A.J. Ramos out of the bullpen after a scoreless inning by Mike Dunn. The Marlins hope that Ramos can finish the night. And he comes into a ballgame with a 7-2 lead. You can see Gordon still moving around, jogging gingerly out there, stretching. Brandon Belt, who's hit it hard tonight. He's 2 for 3. Justin Maxwell and Brandon Crawford for the Giants. And Ramos at 94 miles an hour with a fastball for a strike.
Boy, that's just been a whole lot of good things tonight in this game for the Marlins. Defense has been there. A couple of real nice double plays.
Starting pitching again, Dan Herron. 7 innings, 2 runs.
Nice inning from Mike Dunn. Bullpen's been able to socialize in the dugout tonight.
Two guys who came into the ball game slumping somewhat. Marcell Ozuna and Michael Morse both have broken out of it.
And the Marlins will run their record over the last 15 games here at AT&T to 12-3 with a win here tonight. And actually 17-11 overall against the Giants the last 4 years. And you're talking about some pretty good Giants teams over that period.
Without a doubt. You know, the Giants last year didn't win the division. The Dodgers for the last 2 years have won the West. But Bruce Bochy's bunch won 88 games, and that was enough to get them the second wild card. They went to Pittsburgh, shut out the Pirates 8-0, and it was on. Another incredible ride for the Giants through the postseason. Morse goes to get the ground ball and steps on the bag.
That's an area, to his credit, that Michael Morse, even with his offensive struggles up until tonight, with a couple of nice hits tonight, he still played solid defense at first base.
Justin Maxwell. Tomorrow night, Jared Cozart, Tim Lincecum. The Marlins get Madison Bumgarner on Saturday night. David Phelps goes for the fish, and Maxwell hits it high in the air. Ozuna in center makes a catch. Craig Minervini and Preston Wilson are back tomorrow night. 9:30 start. Late night with the fish, music and all. That's the Cozart Lincecum start. We told you Bumgarner Phelps.
Be the first ever. There's Madison Bumgarner there with the cap on. Be the first ever appearance for Jared Cozart here at AT&T against the Giants. Period.
Matt Latos, Ryan Vogel's song will finish the series on Sunday before Miami moves to Los Angeles. Brandon Crawford holds it. D. Gordon finishes it. Ball game, and Miami wins the opener here in San Francisco. 3 more hits for the top hitter in Major League Baseball. D. Gordon had 3. Martin Prado had 3. Giancarlo Stanton drives in 2. Marcell Ozuna with a 2-run homer. 2 hits for Michael Morse. 2 hits for Adeiny Echeverria. 2 hits for Dan Herron, and Herron was brilliant in 7 innings. And the Marlins come to San Francisco, draw themselves within a game of 500, and they win this ball game 7-2 on 17 hits. How about that? Marlins Live from San Francisco is coming up.